Good morning and welcome to Fat Cow Farm. Now, we've had an unexpected, massive sort of late spring, early summer downpour. Now, we got 50 mils just during the last couple of days now, and what I thought I would do is I'm going to take this opportunity while I can, because they are expecting, or the weather predictors are sort of saying that we're going to get another, maybe 20 mil over the week. And so I thought, right, down tools, stop everything. What we're going to do is get some mulch back into the ground and start working on the top paddock that we have up here at Fat Cow Farm. Now, a lot of you would have seen the videos of mulching the blackberries and things like that. Well, this is that same paddock that we're in. And so when the other week when I was planting out some seeds, I came up here and put some of those grass seeds in just to start building up diversity in this top paddock, because at the moment I've just purely got native grasses up here, and I wanted to start that diversity. Now, this paddock here is pretty much off boundaries for all the cattle and things like that, so we're really letting it rest and redevelop after all that, removing the blackberries, or mulching the blackberries I should say, and letting a lot of these grasses come through. Now, in saying that, like the CSIRO had said to me that we needed about 4 passes or so to really eliminate those blackberries, and I hadn't finished that 4 passes yet. This will be the 4th pass now, and already looking around about what this paddock was to basically what it's turned into today is just amazing, absolutely amazing. And so I reckon I've probably eliminated, already looking at around and what's come up, probably about a good 70%. I wouldn't go much higher than that, because I still have, some clumps coming through and things like that. But, in saying that also is that I'm hoping that with these grass seeds that we've planted now, that they're going to start taking off shortly and cover the blackberries from sunlight. So, but also what I want to do is then go back to the original thought process, is that I'm going to use the blackberries for the mulch, to put back on top of those little cuts that the disc seeder put through, and then when planted the seed. So anyway, that's the sort of thought process, and I'll get into it. So really, it's when you see the opportunities come through, you really got to take them. And I thought, right, I've got basically a break in the weather, and I'm going to jump straight back into it and get everything squared away from there. All right, so I've got the tractor, I've got the flail. I'm going to start getting a few things squared away here as a part of the mulching process starting again, and getting a lot of this matter back into the ground, and then we can go from there. So I've got a bit of work ahead of me. I'll come and find you, and I'll see you soon. All right, so here we go. We're making progress. Now, you'll be able to see the green just over a couple of passes back there now. So that's where we haven't cut, obviously, and a lot of those grasses are now starting to seed up, which is absolutely fantastic. So we'll get them back into those soils. But really, it's all working absolutely fantastic. Now, I think you'll remember that we had a bit of a test pilot on some areas where we had cleared some blackberries, or mulched up some blackberries, and we just cast some seeds in. Now, that's worked out really well, and I'll take you over there to have a look. But the other area where we just used the mulcher to go over the seeds and germinate, boom, boom, absolute failure. I was hoping that, I think I've brought that up before, but I was hoping I might have seen a little bit of growth, but there's just nothing, absolutely nothing. But also in saying that too, we're sort of coming through, and I've only got maybe 3/4 of a bucket here, of rocks that I'm picking up along the way, which is great, you know. So you know, I remember when I first started, and I don't know how many buckets of rocks I've taken out of here, the hundreds, absolutely hundreds. But working through this morning, you know, and I've only got 3/4. So it's you know, it's all coming together, and it's going to make life a lot quicker and a lot easier, obviously, when I don't have to stop out, dig the rocks out, put them in the bucket, get back on the tractor and keep on going, you know. So even as a part of planting out different grasses and doing what we're doing now with mulch and things like that, so it's taking a lot better in time and also efficiencies, you know. So but anyway, look, what I want to do is I'll take you down here to show you a little area where we did it as a test phase, and I think you'll remember I had my little seed spreader from the hardware store. So but look, it's kicked off, and like I've now mulched that, so, and that's really what I wanted to do, but also with the seeds that we planted the other last week it was, but we'll get a bit of a mulch bed on top of that, especially with those rains coming. But you know, I'm glad we had those rains come through during the week, or the last couple of days, because I wouldn't have been able to dig these rocks out. It's starting to get quite firm up here in the soils. So and that's, I suppose, a measure that I can sort of see, is that walking around with the shovel, putting it into the ground, the soils are still quite soft. I remember when I first started, and not only did I have a shovel, but I had to get a crowbar into there as well. Oh, you know, it was just hard. So even with the mulching that's going on, and getting all that broken down material into these soils, you know, I can certainly see that it's really starting to change. And it's, how long's it been? It's probably been about a year now, maybe a year and a half, looking after these pastures. So, all right, look, I'll tell you what, we'll go down and have a look at that grass coming up. That's plantain, and we did that really at the start of spring. So that's doing all right. All right, so I'll come and find you, and I'll see you soon. All right, so here we are, basically at ground level, and this is one of the areas where we had that a big, massive, you know, 6 foot high blackberry sort of clump, I suppose you could call it, and we've mulched that down and we've let it settle, and about, what was it, 10 or so weeks ago, 12 weeks ago, we planted out some plantain as a bit of a test, and we were using our little hand seed spreader, and then because we'd pushed all the mulch aside, seeded, and then brought all that mulch back. And this has worked an absolute treat, You know, I've got plantain grass coming up everywhere. You know, granted that it's all a bit messy down, it's because we've started just to mulch again, but we'll get all that back into those soils. But you know, if you would have asked me, even, I don't know, let's say 5 years ago, you know, would you ever get excited about grass? There's no chance. There is no way I would have been excited about grass. And while I was driving the tractor, you know, you sort of take that in going, you know, wow, my life has certainly changed. And here I am, I'm getting my absolute rocks off that I've got grass coming up through an experiment that we did, which I can now replicate in a larger model, you know. So there are so many things that, you know, life expectancies, or not life expectancies, but the way that your life works out and pans out through time is absolutely amazing. So, and this is why when I came up here during the week, was that I wanted to see how this was going, and especially with the rain that we had. And this is hence why I really want to start mulching in those grass seeds that we planted the other week. Get a bit of a cover crop on those, just to hold up that moisture, especially with the rain that we've got coming. So hence, this is why it was pretty much all tools down. We'll get this sorted, and then we're good to go. All right, so you can probably see behind me still, you know, there's that band running through. Now I'm going to be leaving that band, so the way that I sort of are going to put this all together is more like a bit of a crop sort of scenario, where if I do get those big heavy rains, and you know, and they're becoming a little bit more frequent in the way of, rather than just getting 5 or 10 mil, you know, we're getting 50s and 60s, and that worries me a little bit as a part of the way that we do things here at Fat Cow Farm. And so I had to change a little bit. So yes, I've got quite low grass where we've mulched now, and you know, I'm hoping that the mulch and everything else will sort of dampen that explosion of rain coming through. But should I get any runoff off these areas, it's going to be absorbed pretty much through here in that long, you know, that long grass through here. So you know, that's only about maybe 200 or 300 mil in height. So that'll stop a lot of that rain, and so I'm still expecting to absorb a lot of that volume. So that's my theory process, and as you can see, that's sort of on a downhill slope as well. So once I get this up and running, then it will be that turn we'll give that a mulch out, and we'll just constantly crop it as we go down the line. All right, so I've still got, I don't know, I suppose a few more hours left of picking up rocks and mulching out. I'll just go get rid of these rocks now, and so I can come back and have an empty bucket. We're using those just stockpiling at the moment, but setting up gabion walls and things like that, that's what the intention is, which is great. So at least they're all coming from the one source. All right then. So there's always something happening. So anyway, I'll get a few things squared away. I'll come and find you, and I'll see you soon. All right, well, I finished off the section that I'd planted out with the cedar, and so we've mulched on top of that. So I'm all pretty, job's done, mate, job's done. So I've just got to wait for really the weather to turn now. And like I said, you know, that'll be over the next couple of days. And then what I'll do is, you can see where I've stopped. So I've got basically the marker, which is that large gum tree down the end there. Now I'll let this recover and start rejuvenating over the next, I don't know, I'm sort of expecting, you know, really the 3 to 4 weeks, something like that, maybe even 5 weeks. That'll start kicking off again, and then that'll give me then an opportunity to look at this little cooped area. I'll do around here, and then do further down back towards the back dam here. So you know, it's one of those sort of scenarios now that, you know, we're giving those seeds, and this is really what it's all about now, giving those seeds the best possible chance. Well, I'm hoping anyway, now that we've seeded them, we've got a mulch bed on top, and so that's now going to, as that rain comes through, hopefully that mulch bed, be it blackberries as well, for that'll all start decomposing and put a bit of cover on those seeds and keep the moisture in. So theories, eh? We'll have to see what happens. But apart from that, you know, everything's squared away. So all about mulching on top of your freshly planted seeds. And like we said before, is that, you know, we'd rather have the seeds in the ground and wait for the conditions to be right. And I'm thinking that's what we're really doing here. We're just giving them a little bit of a head start. And also too, we had to knock down this regrowth of the blackberries. So yeah, man, it's all happening. So all about seeds and mulch, protecting it for the environment. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.